I just want to model a few more examples from lesson 4-11a because a few people have been struggling with that. So maybe just modeling a couple more problems will help. Here's one, negative 2 plus 7x equals 2 plus 6x. Remember, in an equation, this represents a balance, so both sides have the same amount of whatever on them, whatever you're talking about. So the same amount of numbers equal. So we need to the problem here is we have x terms on both sides and we have constant terms on both sides, so we need to start cleaning things up. And the place to start, I believe, is always to deal with your x's. And the easiest thing is just to take this 6x and move it to this side. So I want to get it away from this side, and the way I get it away is by doing the opposite of plus 6x, and I subtract 6x. Whatever I do to this side, because it's balanced, I also have to do to this side, so I have to subtract 6x over here too. So then I do the work here, negative 2, 7x minus 6x is plus 1x. I don't really need the 1, but it's good to write it there. Equals, we're left with a 2, and then what happened here was we subtracted that, so it's gone. So we've gotten a step closer to solving our problem here, cleaning it up. Now I got my x on, all the x's on one side, so that part's clean. Now I need to get rid of this negative 2 because I need to start pulling things away from the x side and getting them to the other side of the equation, maintaining the balance. And the way I do that is if I have a negative 2 here, I need to add 2 to both sides. Since it's balanced, whatever I do to this side, I have to do to that one. So when I do the math there, negative 2 plus 2 is 0. That's what I wanted to happen. And then I have 1x left on this side, because 0 plus 1x is 1x equals 2 plus 2 is 4. And there's nothing else to do after that because we have 1x is equal to 4, so that problem has been solved. Let's do another example. And these equations are starting to get a little bit trickier. Let's look at one with a little bigger number. It's negative 18 minus 6x equals 6 plus 18x. Same thing, I've got x's on both sides of the equation. I've got constants on both sides. I'm going to deal with the x's first. You really don't have to. You can deal with the constants first. It's just good to follow a certain set of procedures so that you're consistent and you do it the same every time. So I'm gonna always bring things from the right to the left. You can go the other direction too. But until you really get good at working equations, it's good just to be consistent with one way to do things, and then you'll see the ways that you can change that. So I need to get the 18x away from here, so since it's plus 18x, I subtract, always do the opposite. Same thing on this side, I subtract 18x from the 6x term because they're like terms. So I'm left with on this side negative 18, and then when I do the math here, negative 6x plus a negative 18x is a negative 24x, so be careful with your sign numbers. Check them with calculators. Equals, we didn't do anything with the 6. This we got rid of because that's what we were trying to do. So now we've got only one x term. Now let's start to deal with the constants. I'm going to move this over here because I want to start to clean up around x because x is what I want to find. I need to get everything away from x. So the way I get negative 18 away is I add 18. Add 18, since this is an equation, whatever I do to this side, I have to do to that side to maintain the balance. So we're left with negative 24x equals 16 plus 8 is 24. So the only thing left to do is get rid of this negative 24 that's multiplied by the x. The way I get rid of something is I do the opposite. The opposite of multiply is divide. So divide negative 24 from both sides, and I end up with, that ends up canceling out to 1, so I end up with 1x equals 24 divided by negative 24 is negative 1. So my answer is 1x equals negative 1, or simply x equals negative 1. It's the same thing, because 1 times x is x. So again, the same process over and over and over again. Let's do one more, just so you see. But you just continue, you just get in the habit of repeating the same process over and over again, and you've got these. So 6x plus 3 equals 3x plus 30. Now would be a good time to shut off the video, work this, and then come back and see if you're starting to get this figured out. So same thing, I've got x terms on both sides, I've got constant terms on both sides. I'm going to deal with the x terms first, because that's just the process that works best for me. So I'm going to bring this x term to this side with this one. So I'll always go from, I pull the right to the left. I can go the other direction, and when you get better at these, you may see advantages to doing that. So I subtract 3x from both sides. I end up with 6x minus 3x is 3x. I didn't do anything to that. 3 equals, that ends up being 0. That's what I was trying to accomplish, and that happened. And I end up with a plus 30. Don't need to write the sign down because it's understood to be there. So I have x is all on one side. That part's accomplished. Now let's start to clean away from the x side. Start with the constant term now. Subtract 3 from both sides. Again, I'm getting rid of this. That's why I subtracted the 3. The reason I subtract 3 from the other side is because this is a balance. The equation is a balance. And I have to keep it in balance. So whatever I do to this side, I have to do to that side. I'm left with 3x. That zeroes out, which is what I wanted, equals 27. Now 3 times x, I need to get rid of the 3. Always do the opposite operation to move it or get rid of it. So I divide both sides by 3, and I end up with x, or 1x, equals 9. Both answers are the same. 1x equals 9 or x equals 9. So that's it. Same process over and over. So practice a few more of those and see if you start to figure it out.